it's time to start focusing on a new generation of edge rushers at the University of Notre Dame. So, Mike, let's start there. A five-star edge has included Notre Dame in his top five. Tell us about him.
Yeah, this is a pretty big deal, Darren. And not only has he included Notre Dame in his top five, he also has 2 visits scheduled to Notre Dame. That's definitely something that you like to hear. Blue and Gold's Kyle Kelly had that report on Sunday. So the prospect is from Charlotte Myers Park, which Charlotte is in North Carolina as a whole is really important for Notre Dame in the 2026 cycle. It's interesting, like some of those southern states, it's like cycles, which one Notre Dame's really involved with. I don't think there's like really a rhyme or reason. It's just like how the class goes. Like some years Notre Dame's really involved in Georgia. Sometimes it's Florida. This cycle, North Carolina, which I would include as a southern state, is very important for Notre Dame. So it's South Carolina, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Duke, and Georgia, the top 5. Probably not a common top 5, but for Rodney Dunham, 6'4". I think this weight of 215 that he's listed at on his On3 profile is probably a bit outdated, but he is the number 7 player in the country, number 3 edge according to On3. And then when you look at the On3 industry ranking, which takes into account the 4 major media recruiting media outlets, number 19 overall player, number 3 edge in the country. And Darren, and talking to some sources close to Notre Dame, like Fighting Irish are feeling really optimistic about where they stand with this player. And Bryce Young in the 2024 cycle, I think got rated as a 5-star according to 24/7. I know it was one of the outlets, but it's like, okay, the naysayers want to be like, oh, well, it's Bryant Young's kid. They just want to poo-poo on it of getting a 5-star caliber DN because, oh yeah, of course you're going to get him. It's Bryant Young's kid. Fair, whatever. You get this young man, you get Rodney Dunham. Yeah, that this would be one of Notre Dame's biggest recruiting wins in quite some time because you're getting a 5-star and it's not an offensive lineman, right? That's Notre Dame's landed, 5 stars, according to at least one of the websites at, I think it's really just 2 position groups, offensive line and linebacker in the past few years. And maybe I'm forgetting one, but you've had your Gerby Lamberts, your Charles Jagasaws, and those types of guys. Then you've had on linebacker, Jalen Sneed, Kingston, Prince Colley back in the 21 cycle, and that didn't quite work out. But that's been it, really. Maybe Lorenzo Styles, I think On3 maybe ranked him as a 5-star, which quite didn't work out either. But he was right on the fringe. But anyways, it really just been offensive lineman and linebacker. You can go get a 5-star pass rusher like Rodney Dunham would be absolutely huge. So Georgia, definitely a team to watch out for in this recruitment. I know he likes Tennessee a lot. All the top 5 programs are obviously contenders here, but going to visit Notre Dame in March, going to visit Notre Dame in June, and you can find Kyle Kelly's article at blueandgold.com from Sunday night. Would definitely recommend folks checking out the website and subscribing. We always have good deals for you to check out. But yeah, Darren, I know as someone who's been following Notre Dame as long as you have, like Notre Dame's opportunity here does not come often. Yeah. So if you can land someone who is a bona fide 5-star talent, I mean, and it's not like, all right, yeah, Notre Dame's just a token school on the list. No, top 5 school, going to visit twice, and really big deal here.
I found it very interesting what you said a moment ago, how sometimes, depending on the year, the states that Notre Dame is really locked in on changes. The fact that it's North Carolina this year, the year that Bill Belichick becomes the head coach of North Carolina, I think that's just kind of a juicy extra little storyline.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, North Carolina was not one of the schools in for Dunham, right? South Carolina, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Duke, Georgia. So wow. Duke made it, but not North Carolina. I mean, is it possible that North Carolina gets their way back into Dunham's recruitment? I don't know. Dunham's been interesting because we've known Notre Dame was a top contender for him for a while, but he hasn't been to South Bend since April of 2024, and I believe that's his lone visit. He's taken visits to Duke and South Carolina and Tennessee more recently, but Notre Dame. That's the thing about Notre Dame that I think if you want to talk about why Notre Dame struggles with some big time talents, oh, it's academics, whatever. Geography, man.
Yeah.
Like it's just a real thing when those schools that I just mentioned are drives from Charlotte, for example, South Carolina. I mean, Charlotte to Columbia. I've done that drive. It's what hour and a half, 2 hours, something. Notre Dame, it's what got to be like 10 hours for Charlotte or something. Knoxville, easy drive. Raleigh, easy drive. Athens, very easy drive. Like that's the thing about South Bend is, yeah, Indianapolis and
Yeah.
Chicago and Detroit. Like some of these are, but it's few and far between. Like the amount of recruiting hotbeds that are near you. So it's something to Notre Dame's detriment, just to call a spade. But obviously, there's a lot of things going in Notre Dame's favor as well with these prospects.
And Bill Belichick recently visited Notre Dame recruit J.C. Anderson at one of his basketball games. So that's my Mike Singer breaking news moment of the day. All right, new prediction from Mike Singer.
All right, I did not do this on purpose, but as we just talked about North Carolina prospects and Charlotte in particular, I did log a prediction for Notre Dame to land a Charlotte prospect. This is at Independence High School, a 3-star prospect, nation's number 521 overall player, number 46 safety. But Darren, he is someone who missed his junior season due to injury. So yeah, what do you want to rank him? Just based on sophomore film, I understand why he's kind of held steady as a 3-star prospect, but someone who Notre Dame views as the top of the board targets. They're very aware of his injury situation and feel good about it, and they are treating him like a top of the board priority. I got to interview him recently, and when we were scheduling the interview, he was like, "Can I call you right after I talk to Coach Mickens?" So I was like, "Oh." So of course, I led the conversation with Reddish about Mickens and that chat, and he was like, "Man, he's just checking up on me," and it really shows just how much of a priority I am. That Notre Dame reaches out to me every day, whether it's
Wow.
it was Al Golden, obviously, and so now it's Mickens and new director of recruiting Carter Almond doing a really good job with Reddish. And then a quick side note, Darren,
Mhm.
I'm going to include this in an article now at Blue and Gold. I'm going to jot this down so I remember. Freeman is taking a big role with recruit parents. I think that's kind of a new shift. Is he talking to the recruits and texting them and doing all those things? Yeah. But I'm told he is really leaning in on being involved with the recruits' parents and communication. What to make of that, I don't know. But I found that interesting that like Reddish told me that Freeman's hitting up his parents all the time. And I've heard more and more from recruits that, yeah, Freeman's in contact with mom and dad.
Is that unique in today's college football?
I can tell you that whether I can't remember if I was told this from a Notre Dame source or a prospect. I'll have to go look back through my notes, but I was told that like Freeman is contacting parents more than any other head coach.